As I mentioned, we were struggling with the situation and we made a lot of testing, and then we found out that there was this nice copy project functionality existing in a project form. So we played around with it and started to investigate and came to the conclusion like, okay, why don't we use the copy project? It's exactly doing what we want, only doing it from the form, but this is something we may be handled by code. So we dig deeper into the out-of-the-box copy project functionality, and this I want to show in detail right now. The copy project is existing in version 3 right now. When you have a look to the linked references, this will point you to an older document, but it is similar. It is a custom action provided by project operations in the environment. And as we see, it is using project copy option as a string parameter. It gets a source entity at a target entity. Easy as that. The entity is the one you want to copy as a source. Target is the one where you want to copy it. And in the project copy option, there the difference is remove named resource. When you have an existing project structure where the project is already running, you have bookings on it, you have named resources staffed to each individual WBS task. When you perform a copy of this project, the named resource will be removed and replaced with a so-called generic resource, and you can start your planning from scratch again. This is nice when you have huge existing structures you want to reuse. Simply use this as an option and you can continue using it. The clear teams and assignments just removes everything, so you will not have team members in the WBS structure and the project, and as well named resources or the generic resource. So this is a good example when you want to start completely from scratch and the project manager should make the schedule completely on their own. Just mentioned the WBS structure will copy it and also the estimates. So it's not only about handling the WBS structure and the task, it will also handle the estimates you added to the project. Then for status handling, as you saw in the agenda first, it's also important to handle case of failure. So for this, Microsoft has something like a status handling in place. We see it on the right picture. Projects on create will get the status active. And when we trigger the functionality copy project, it will start to switch over project copying. And then we have two status left. When the copy is successful, it switches back to active. This could be a possible trigger for your API to do a backward planning or performing any type of updates. And when the copy switches back to copy failed, you know, okay, there was some sort of issue and you should look deeper into the log. So what went wrong? Here again, the overview, as I just said, about the parameter settings. Choose one of those. And in the, as I mentioned, removed named resource, this is the default one in project operations. Also, as an example, when you use the out-of-the-box functionality in the project, the form, using copy project will remove the named resource. For the clear assignments and teams, this one represents the default in project for the web. Okay, let's come to the error case. From time to time, it happens that the copy functionality simply broke and you get an error message. The error message is displayed at the project form in the notification header and just showing a session ID and a correlation ID. And for this is important to know when you have issues, continuously issues in the system, these are the values you need to provide for the Microsoft support to help you. Then they can open the ticket and check in the backend what was going wrong. As an example, I just made an overview how a typical log would look like. So we see the correlation IDs, the session IDs, and most important is also that you provide the timestamp to the support next to your tenant ID and the addresses like system ID, so the GUID of the environment and also the URL for access. These are linked to the services so Microsoft can have a deeper look. Now I provide from our best practice and knowledge some common issues about the point of when copy fails. The typical issue is corrupted working time calendars. This can happen time to time when you have different time zone settings between your project resources and the project, and also overlapping working time. This can happen, as an example, when I have a look from Germany and I set up UK resources or Indian resources and have the project scheduled in the US. We have a complete overlapping time zone setting in the project, and then it's important that we also check the working time of the resource. From time to time, as I said, they get broken, and it's best practice and very easy if you simply recreate the calendars for the resource and apply it for then the resource and the project. So it will then get updated and hopefully correct the issue. Also, another issue is missing privileges at the Dynamics side. As I said, it's a background service, but nevertheless, it also needs requirements to write and update the services in the environment. And this can happen if you are the triggering user and you do not have update rights on project task, it simply will fail. Another issue can be that you also need the project operations license. Just keep in mind. And as a next step, we've also found out, I saw this from time to time at the project, there's a special hidden flag. It is used to automatically create the first initial project manager as a team member. When this flag is set to not create this team member, this can also break the copy functionality, because this user needs to exist in the copied project as well. So do not update this parameter. Then also it is possible that from time to time Microsoft is introducing new parameters. So after major updates, you should also have a look to your project parameters in the system. Best example in this case was the introduction from the scheduled mode, where we have fixed duration, setting, and all this stuff. So in the older environment, it was possible that the setting was simply blank. So the copy functionality could simply not use the blank values. So keep in mind when there are major updates, check your parameters that you have settings in place. And then also from time to time it happens, as we know, Microsoft on Friday evenings starts with the update runs over the weekend. This creates downtime in the environments due to solution updates and patch applies. Then the functionality simply breaks down because the system is in a deadlock. So just retry these projects again. But when you have a typical project and you are simply not able to copy it at any cost, keep in mind, check the log files and create a support ticket. Also a reminder, when we implement this functionality later by our own, best practice to check if the environment works at all is open a project and press the copy project button, so the out of the box. When this one is not working, keep this table in mind and check what may be wrong in your environment. At least we can say we reutilize the out-of-the-box copy project functionality, so when the out-of-the-box is not working, our own stuff will also not work.